I think one of my favorite things about thrifting is that you always have a story and a memory around finding the piece. You have to do hunting, like you're sweating, you might cry, like you get stuck on the highway in order to find these little pieces. There's always a story and a memory. So rather than just like an aesthetic piece you add to your home, there's a whole day wrapped around all these little items. It's nice. Hi, I'm Caroline, and welcome to my handmade home in Washington, D.C. I'm a YouTuber. I have an interior design YouTube channel. I also have a podcast. I've been in this apartment for a little over 2 years now, and I feel like it now feels like my home. Yeah. The bay windows in my apartment were 100% the selling point for me. There's really high ceilings, there's nice millwork, but I think the windows do most of the heavy lifting. One of my proudest things in this apartment, actually the first thing I had before I even found the apartment, was this dining table, which I thrifted. I got from Facebook Marketplace, $300. It's possibly not the right shape for the bay windows, but it's so easy to live with. It makes the space very livable. So I really love it. And I do spend a lot of time here working, moping, like spiraling, reflecting. This is where most of my activities happen. It's scuffed in the correct way, so I don't feel precious about like getting candle wax or markers or pins or scratches, and that felt very important to me. Everyone loves this table and everyone is correct. It's good. I do really like to try to find opportunities to add color or pattern or more interest to your apartment that's probably bare white walls. Even just adding curtains to my living room. These are like faux curtains. These curtains don't actually close, but they add dimension, they add color, a little bit of texture, make it a little cozier and softer. And then that ends up being like the pop of color in the living room. And then yeah, I do actually spend most of my time sitting right here working, which is why I hung these two little frames very randomly on this tiny sliver of wall. It's not an obvious choice, but I hung them up for me. I think those are the little fun things to find in your space of like, what would make me delight in this, as opposed to like the Instagram post or whatever. If I had to describe my home in 3 words, it would be cozy. I definitely want my home to feel homey, just like welcoming, calming, not just for presentation, not just like a museum, and durable because I want people to feel like they can relax, like they can put their feet up on the couch, like they can, you know, spill on the table. I often got in trouble for that growing up, and I'm committed to having a home now that like you can live in it, you can break things, you can scratch things, it's okay. And it's haunted. And it's haunted. Listen, I don't know the details, I'm not in charge of the haunting. I still like the space. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. There's a presence in moments, yeah. I used to work as a software developer and I did UX design. And that's actually where I learned a lot of design principles. I think what I really honed in website design is balancing form with function, like the way you move through a website, the way you move through a space. That's like a main part of design, not just the colors and the drapes and the cool decor pieces, but what makes it functional. There are tiny things in my home that I feel like make it exponentially more livable. For example, when you enter the apartment, you're immediately in my living room. Like there's no entryway, there's no time to collect yourself. You're immediately in the heart of the apartment. I had to kind of fake my way to various drop zones. When I enter the apartment, there's immediately somewhere I can hang my purses, I can hang my coat, I can drop my keys so I know where they're gonna be because otherwise I'm losing them. Another tiny addition, I have this corner next to my couch where there's not really room for a side table. I ended up putting a tiny shelf, and it makes all the difference in the world to not just be having to hold your phone when a guest is over, to have somewhere to put your drink down. I think those are often overlooked in design, but those tiny pieces are what make the space livable, makes it like easy to navigate. And I think working on websites kind of got me thinking about that a lot. This guy is probably one of the first things people comment on, DIY artwork. I did make it. which you can tell if you look closely, it's DIY. I had this giant wall and I wanted to do one large piece. I love fabric swatches. I collect them like nobody's business. It's just like a personal addiction. And so I made this DIY canvas like frame and put the fabric swatches up there. The frame is falling apart and I won't be fixing it. And here's why. The way I feel about DIYs is kind of the same as tattoos. Like, they're a snapshot of a moment. They can just be a representation of something you're excited about and something you tried and permanently put on your wall or your body in the moment. And the beauty of them changes over time. I'm not gonna fix this frame, so people need to stop asking me to. I really love this corner. I think this corner is underappreciated. I really love running artworks up the wall. These are DIY blind contourings I did, which is like a sketch when you don't look at the paper, of my family members. You don't have to be a talented artist to do it, and you can make something really personal. I love those. I just thrifted the frames. I thrifted my little like accent chair, and it came with this bright blue cushion, which again, usually I don't do blue. Just use a spray adhesive to recover it. And then I used the same fabric to recover this lampshade. I love stuff like that where it's like, it's hard to mess it up and it still has a really big impact in personalizing your space. The thing I'm the most excited about right now are these shelves. They are custom made, handmade by my brother, who's an amazing woodworker. He has his own channel where he shows that. I couldn't really figure out a place to put my books. My amazing, talented brother made these shelves by hand for me. Every time I walk out into my living room, I like scream a little bit. I'm so happy. They're so special and completely customized to the space. So that is basically the living room. Now follow me into the hallway. This is the little baby hallway that connects my front living room to my kitchen. It's a very tight space. There's these nice high ceilings, so I really like running the art all the way up and just like making a dramatic moment. I'm very dramatic. I think every home needs some art that upsets somebody, at least someone. If your home is full of art that everyone is equally okay with all the time, then you're probably living in a department store. Like, it's probably not gonna feel very personal. People get so upset about, I don't know, I have all these portraits of old men and like really creepy paintings and 19th century drawings of like teeth. This one is how to wrap a human body, baby, leg, corpse. People really don't like that. This one is just of bacteria under a microscope. I love them. They're opinionated. Like, they have an opinion, they feel very personal. We all want our space to feel cohesive, but I think you can go like too hard on being cohesive and too hard on being matchy-matchy or correct and lose some of your personality. So I think if you like something weird, that's a great move. And then if we go right down here at the other end of the hall is my bathroom, tiny bathroom. I tried to make some bold choices in my bathroom and I think they're fine. I give myself like a B maybe, but it's definitely my least favorite space. I feel like I learned about needing to see what paint looks like when it's next to a light source, because the light source in there like blows out the paint to so much more bright orange, and I didn't really think about that. The way the bathroom looks now is actually the second time I've made it over. The first time I chose paint colors and a wallpaper that like they technically went together and they were the same color palette, but I didn't individually love any of them. And then when it was all finished, like it was cohesive technically, but I didn't really like it. Like it just fell flat, didn't do anything for me. I think in that moment I'd gotten distracted by like what works and what was correct or predictable, as opposed to something weird that really excited me. When the DIY or a design experiment doesn't go the way you want, just like, you know, it's like all of life, figure out what you learned from it, and that's really the only way you ever get to a final product that's like more personalized and feels like you. One of my favorite spots in the apartment is in my kitchen, where there's just like a little sweet corner. The light is kind of moody and there's no seating in there, but there's a tiny stool, and I will sit on the stool like a child and like eat my meals there like a little rat or something, because I just love being in there and it feels so cozy. When I was apartment hunting, it was actually a big bonus to me that there was a separate kitchen. Because I love design, having separate rooms is really good. I know that open concept has been popular for a while, but it's really hard to make different design choices when all the rooms bleed into each other. So I love having a separate kitchen. And as you can see, I ended up painting it blue. When I moved in here, all of the walls were painted gray. I'm just renting, so my landlord said I could paint them either white or cream. I started with white, and I have since worked on him and worked on our relationship of trust to be able to ask him that I could paint other colors. And he basically trusts me to do anything now. I guess thinking about designing the space, it's really helpful to like find your starting point. And for me in this room, it was the thing I hated, which was the cherry cabinets. Like, wouldn't have chosen it, but they're big, they're here, and how do you work with them? And so from there, I landed on the blue paint. And from the blue paint, I knew I wanted to have a lot of artwork and things that really popped. So I love getting a couple, I don't use this pan, like I don't cook, but it's so cute, it's so cute. Some like artworks that popped really nicely against the blue. Ooh, this is one of my most prized possessions in the whole world, or in this apartment, which is a little honey jar. This is a custom honey jar that I designed and my brother made by hand. Oh, I thrifted this marble washstand, and it was pretty beat up when I got it. There were just all these nicks and scratches. I just took a wood stain pen and fixed all the little cracks and scratches. Wood stain pen is one of your best friends. I feel like I revived this whole piece. Also applied, this is just like a top, like peel and stick backsplash back here that kind of matches the blue paint on the walls. I love it. All renter friendly, just like updated hardware. I love updating hardware because you get to touch it, and every time you touch it, it like feels good in the soul, I feel like. Yeah, this is my tiny cozy kitchen. So welcome to the bedroom. It is pretty tight. All the furniture in this room is thrifted or secondhand. I thrifted this bed, this 4-poster, for $100, Facebook Marketplace. And while this very nice man who sold it to me was attaching the bed to my car to drive home, he told me about how a friend of his died in the bed. And it also felt too late for me to back out, so I've just taken this bed, and it is definitely haunted. I describe my home as haunted. This is just one of the many parts that are haunted. And I sleep comfortably, but I would say it is disturbed sleep. But I love it. I actually love this room so much. It feels very cozy, really high ceilings, which I wanted to emphasize by wallpapering the ceiling. My amazing brother helped me with that. He's a saint. I probably owe him forever. It was like very difficult to do. I don't know that I would recommend. I might hire out. If you want to wallpaper your ceiling, I might hire out to do that. But I love it up there. It's a William Morris print, and it's just like so fun to lay on the bed and just like look up. I really love it. I really actually like the gallery wall in the corner here because it goes across 2 walls, which just feels fun and frivolous to me. There's also more art up there that people hate. This like creepy couple. It's just a print I got, but I love it. I love the weird tension, and some people say that might be contributing to the haunting in my apartment. It might, but I take it. And I did tile. This is like a peel and stick tile on the fireplace, which I really like because it is kind of an unexpected pattern. It's not just like more matchy florals. I like that it brings a little geometry, a little friction. That to me feels like less matchy-matchy, more personalized. I've got 3 different light sources other than the overhead. I'm trying to always get away from the overhead lighting. I don't look pretty in it, but also like it sets a better mood. So I've got this really sweet little pleated lamp, this guy, and my favorite is the sconce over there, which is important for 2 reasons. First of all, because the apartment really is haunted, it's nice that I can turn off the last light without getting out of bed. I can just like be safe, turn off the light. And then it's over top one of my favorite thrifted pieces is this little baby artwork. It is such a good frame. on it. It's really sweet. I probably got it for $5. There's this sense of urgency when I move in somewhere new to want to just have all your decor pieces selected and chosen and moved in and done. But the truth is, to get a really lived in, homey, cozy space, it takes time and curating and layering and having the mix of items that are real memories from your life, not just collected in one shopping trip when you moved in, really helps your home feel so much more personal, like somebody's home, homey. Personally, I do feel that the most important opinion about your space is your own. It's not, does it match? It's not, is it cohesive? It's not, will it look good on Pinterest? It's like, does this thing delight you? So if you can kind of, I think, keep a gauge for that little feeling of delight about things, you're on a good path. Well, that was amazing. If you liked this home tour, remember to like the video and subscribe to Handmade for more home tours like this.